My very special guest on the red couch today is a young Barbadian man who, years ago, and I'm not really dating myself, not him because he's a very young man, but years ago I learned that he actually was a big fan of Market Vendor, and when he was in his pre-teens, actually did a pretty good interpretation of Market Vendor. Well, who are we talking about today? None other than Khaleel Kothdiwala, my very special guest on the red couch.
Thank you so much for having me today.
It's a pleasure. So, I mean, Khaleel, I think we all recognize, certainly I do, and I know others who, many who think like me, admire you and respect you, and think that you are really an outstanding example of what a young Barbadian can be and is. And you are the embodiment of the talents that you've been given, but the fact that they've been developed and so on. However, that is not the perception of every young person out there. And as I said, we've seen examples of positive, but the negative always seems to break through over the positives. Your thoughts on your generation, because you know every generation says, I don't know how these young people, I don't know how they get like this, and, you know, this generation and so on. But I heard that when I was your age, and I'm sure my parents heard it when, you know, in their time. Your comment.
I was saying that just earlier this week in another program that I was on. I haven't lived long, but from what from the little I do know, I don't believe that there's anything particularly strange or bad about this particular generation of young people. I think that if there are bad elements, that like every other generation, they will grow out of them. To be sure, I think that there are a lot of young people who are doing a lot of positive things, and we see that all over in different spheres of endeavor, in the arts and in academics and in sports and in many respects, in the church and in religious groups and so on. But I think a critical part of the problem when we start talking about young people who are perhaps acting out and so on is that we may not be giving them the opportunity to hone their talents and giving them the opportunity to do the things that they enjoy.
Martin Luther King once said, stand up for justice, stand up for truth, and God will be at your side forever.
From a very early age, as I said, I enjoyed reading, and I enjoyed politics and current affairs and newspapers, and those are the interests that were tapped into by my parents, by the school, by the community, etc. And that they gave me the opportunity to practice those things and to become better at those things. On the other hand, a lot of young people who have other interests, because not everyone is interested in the same thing, who have other interests are not being given the opportunity to tap into the genuine interests that they have. And I think that then leads us to some of the issues.
With a name like Kothdiwala, you know, it's your ancestry, part of your ancestry is from India, and part of your ancestry is Barbadian. Has that been a bridge or a challenge in any respects culturally for you?
For me, no. You know, I think I have always recognized the fact that I am a Barbadian. You know, so there's nowhere else I can go to. You can't deport me to anywhere. But I think equally, on a very serious note, I'm a very sanguine and realistic person. So I can remember from a very young age, and I'm talking about even long before I was 10, you begin to realize that you live in a society in which there are some people, I think not a lot, but there are some people who don't believe that you should be there. And as I said, it doesn't bother me because I'm an unbothered kind of person. But I think it is unfortunate that we have Barbadian people born in Barbados. I will get to that. But people born in Barbados, Barbadian people who are made to feel as though they are not Barbadian, and that concerns me. Not that it affects me, but because I know that there are people who feel unwanted in this country, who feel unwanted in this country because of their race, who feel unwanted because of their religion or their gender or their orientation or their age in some respects. And I think that we have to do better as a country to make sure that we include people in this Barbados and in this Barbadian project.
You're doing law now. You finish law. You do your law school and so on. What do you have any idea of where it is you want to see? I know you want to play a part in, at least I suspect, in public life. Where do you see yourself going in that regard?
I have no idea. You know, I know a lot of people have a lot of ideas.
For you?
Yes.
We are together, united as one. Different races, different religions, different parties and political affiliations, standing up together.
I have none, but I know that a lot of people have a great deal of ideas about it. But no, I think that I am taking the days as they come. I'm enjoying the experiences in the moment. Being present, I think, is very important. And then wherever it takes me. But for example, being a politician is not something that occupies my daily living. I don't wake up with the thought or go to bed with the thought, really. I think that where life takes me, it will take me.
The fact that many people have expectations and views of you, it in fact is a compliment, because it says that people see and recognize you as a unique talent, and therefore they have high hopes, and I think it's meant in a complimentary way. What are your thoughts on this whole thing about age, and not necessarily within the Senate environment or political environment, but in terms of what are your views on young people? Why should young people have to wait? Cigar Field Sobers produced one of his greatest innings when he was probably not yet 18 years old, playing for the West Indies up in Savannah Park in Jamaica.
Yeah, no, you know, and I get the question a lot, and I think about it a lot. And just before we came on here, I think in the green room, someone was saying to me, and I was saying to them, that the only way that we can allow young people to experience is by giving them the opportunity to experience. So that we cannot say, well, young people don't have enough experience to do this if we haven't given them the chance to have that experience. For example, the Prime Minister, you know, she is a fantastic politician today from which the country is benefiting. But she started in politics from a very early age. I think she was a candidate at 23. She was entrusted with a very, very weighty ministry at 29, education. And the country has come to benefit from the exposure that she was given, because, of course, Prime Minister Motley is the leader for the times. We need her at this point in time, and she has been able to, she and the government have managed the crisis so well. And I think that has, and certainly what she said to me, is that has a lot to do with the opportunity that she was given. So that one wonders how many Prime Minister Motleys are we going to suppress by not allowing them and giving them the opportunity to be able to contribute. Because again, they contribute to the present, but equally, they hone their skills to be able to contribute in the future.
I think that's a great point at which we could end today's fascinating discourse with Khaleel Kothdiwala. I certainly will continue to watch your progress, and we will probably want to invite you back here on the red couch in the future, and to share some more thoughts from you on where you see the future, and your own future, but also the future of our country, our region, and when we look around us and see what's happening in some parts of the globe, our world. Final words for you.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to the opportunity to returning, and I don't get the opportunity often to talk about these kinds of things personal to me, so I appreciate the opportunity.